This is Andi Purewal for Boxing News. I'm joined by Egis Klimas here in London. Egis, it's always a pleasure. It's been a while since I last saw you. Before we obviously come on to the obvious, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Can't complain it.
That's good to hear. Straight into the obvious, Fury-Usyk official Feb 17th. How relieved or excited are you to get this one over the line and to be able to look forwards now to this undisputed fight?
Finally happening. Finally, this is what people want. This is what boxing fans want it. This is what it needs to be watched by all around the world.
On the back of Tyson's fight with Ngannou, obviously there's all the talk of it happening on December 23rd. When it didn't happen then, or when Tyson said he wouldn't be ready, did you have any concerns that it wouldn't take place early next year?
No, because we already knew about what. No, we speculated about December 23rd, but we never put it in ink. So we just and we knew what something can happen, and fight can be moved 4 weeks, 6 weeks. That's why we wasn't surprised.
How much of a benefit do you feel that extra time will be for Oleksandr?
Sometimes extra time is not as good as people think, but knowing a date, it's good. When we know a date, so we can prepare it.
Just on Tyson's fight with Francis, obviously it was more difficult than what most people would have imagined. We obviously saw Oleksandr there kind of giving Tyson instructions, shouting from ringside. What was your thoughts on what Tyson showed in that fight with Francis Ngannou?
I wasn't surprised by Tyson. I was surprised by Ngannou, what he came in and what he brought into the ring. That's what I was surprised.
Does it change your opinion at all as to how Feb 17th will play out now? Do you think it might be a little bit easier at all for Oleksandr?
No, we cannot judge by fight. So we will see. Sometimes it can be very tricky. I had myself a couple times. The guys come in and they didn't show good, and then after that you get a good fighter in front, and they look completely different.
I've seen some people suggest from that fight, has Tyson's chin maybe started to lose that power to be able to take a punch, or is he on the decline slightly? You have no concerns in that front looking at Tyson?
Not really. If you're going to relook that video about that fight, he didn't get clipped into the chin. He got behind the head, more like a more temple area. That's where it's not the chin. So, and knowing Usyk, he's not a killer. So he might gonna, I don't think we can compare and say, oh, Usyk gonna knock him out. It's not gonna be easy. It's gonna be a very good long fight, and I think you're gonna go to distance.
You think you'll go over distance? Did you say that?
I think.
Oleksandr won't like that. Oleksandr, throughout his career, he's had to travel everywhere for the toughest fights. He's been over to Manchester. He's obviously boxed at a breedis away from home, everywhere, going through the champions he's fought. Does Oleksandr enjoy that boxing away from home? Does he thrive off that energy?
He built a few fights. I believe like 9 fights was into his home, and after that, all the fights was on the road. He's a champion of the road, on the road.
How does Oleksandr go about defeating Tyson Fury come Feb 17?
He's just gonna box. Hey, Rob.
How are you? Yes. Would you see this as the toughest test of Oleksandr's career so far?
It's not gonna be easy one. That's for sure.
Just moving away from Oleksandr, get your thoughts on a couple of other things whilst I have you, Egis. Lomachenko, what's the latest with him?
Well, after that bad decision of judges in Nevada, he just said, I need to take off of my mind boxing, and I need to take a break. So he said before the year is over, he's not going to even be talking about a fight. So the year is going to be over, then we're going to go and start negotiating, see what's available. But he's going to be definitely staying at the 135.
Definitely staying at 135, which is obviously good to hear for him, and good to hear he's just going to continue boxing. I did see a couple reports that the George Kambosos fight might take place next year. Is that a fight which interests you guys still?
Yeah, why not? We can go to Australia to fight, or maybe Saudis want to be interested in it. Nowadays, what's happening in boxing, you can't predict. So let's wait until it's going to be, the decision. But when he's going to say, yes, I'm coming fighting, then we're going to start looking for the fights.
So just on the Saudi Arabia front, we're seeing them put on a lot of big shows at the minute, Egis. Do you feel like that's going to gradually start to become the home of all of the big events within the sport?
the way these guys are coming and the way we're doing it, all of this, I think it's going to be a second home of boxing.
Egis, yesterday we had a show announced for December 23rd. It's the first time we've seen Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn meet. I'm sure you've seen over the years the back and forths. Just what did you make of that press conference and seeing them together for the first time?
So this is what's happening, you know. A lot of people were trying to bring all the promoters in the one room, but not too many did it. So it looks like the people who's putting right now these events, you know, His Excellency, they know what they're doing. They're bringing people together, which is good. That's good for sport.
Planning on buying a house over in Saudi Arabia?
Excuse me?
Will you buy a house over in Saudi Arabia?
Not yet.
A couple more paydays.
Yes.
Just whilst we talk about that card, Joshua-Wallin, just your thoughts on that, please, Egis.
I am worried for my fighters.
Nothing to say on that?
Whatever happens, you know, what can I do? I have full hands of my what to worry about.
Sticking to your fighters then, obviously we've seen the IBF have been pretty strict in saying that if a rematch takes place next year after Fury-Usyk won, they will strip whoever holds the IBF title. I'm just want to get your thoughts on that.
I believe the fight was going to happen is going to be for undisputed, and then if a belt or one or two going to slip away, it's still undisputed. So you can't take that away.
And just a final thing, I spoke to Alex Krashik about this. I just want to get your thoughts as well. For as long as you've worked with Oleksandr, I'm sure he's spoken to you about his relationship with his father. We saw him do an interview with Steve Bunce where he opened up about kind of how difficult it's been not having him around and how proud he knows his dad would be of him being in this position now. What can you tell me about Oleksandr's relationship with his father and what you thought of seeing him open up about that with his interview with Steve?
Oh, he speaks. So of course, no, he speaks very highly about his father, and you know, you can tell he's missing him a lot. And I think it's a very touchable question for him to talk about it, because every time he starts to talk about it, you can see tears in his eyes.
It's understandable there, Egis. And just a final one. Imagine this is the only interview Tyson Fury is going to watch. I know there's a lot of banter, a lot of joking between everybody, but look down that camera and send Tyson Fury a message for me, please.
Tyson, you be ready. It's not going to be easy.
Egis, short, sweet, and I appreciate your time. Good luck with the rest of camp with Oleksandr, and thank you for speaking to me.
Thank you.